Hello.
Okay.
Hi.
Okay.
Hello.
Can
Hi.
you listen to us?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, good. Okay. Anyway, it's nice to see you. Uh,
Yeah, it's nice to see you also.
okay, and can you please tell us what's your name?
My name is Mark.
Mark.
Yeah.
Okay, Mark. I'm Anivo and Andres. Can you please tell him who you are?
Hello, Mark. My name is Andres from I am from Colombia.
Nice to meet you,
Yes.
Andres.
Nice
Okay,
to meet
Mark.
you too.
Well, anyway, it's nice to meet people from other parts of the world, and I also know the good reasons why people decide to interact and change or interchange ideas to speak English, and that I would like to know a little more about you, Mark. Tell us what you do.
I've just graduated from university. I'm a civil engineer and I'm looking for job currently. So that's my current situation.
Okay, good. So, um, and getting or looking for a job in your country at this moment as a civil engineer is easy or difficult?
Uh, it's not difficult, but it's kind of difficult to find a job with a good salary because right now Ukraine has a difficult situation with the economy. So it's kind of hard to find a good job, but we have a lot of different opportunities for engineer people who are engineer.
Okay, so and so according to what you said, it's not so difficult. So the demand for engineers in your country is high or is low, or there are a lot of civil engineers in your country.
Uh, do you mean from which point start salaries of engineer?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like for senior for junior engineer it would start from 400 $500 per month, and for senior engineer it would rise up to $1,000 per month. So it's like it really depends from experience of engineer, because the more you have experience, the more you have abilities to find a job with good salary. So
Okay, good. Well, that's important.
Yes.
Yeah, so I can tell you, okay, Andres, we can listen to you, who you are, and we just introduce yourself.
Okay. Yes. Yes, Mark. I'm from Colombia. I am from Colombia. I am living Cali, Colombia. I am a doctor. I am head and neck of surgeon. Coincidentally, I have a friend from Ukraine. He's uh, same. He is doctor. He is a surgeon. Is same to you. Is younger. He work in the hospital in Kiev. Kiev is the capital.
yeah, yeah,
Ukraine. Yes.
yeah.
Uh, and I he's my friend because we are uh, doing the one specialty in microsurgery in Europe.
Yeah.
For this reason, I know this person. And Mark, where do you live? In what city for Ukraine?
I live in the east side of Ukraine. I live in this small city that's situated near Russian and Ukrainian border.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really small city. We have only about 1,000 people only live there. So it's
Ah,
not
yes.
a big city. It's just a small city. I live with my parents currently in their house. So
It's a small city. Where do you live?
yeah,
Yes.
it's small
And
city.
1,000. Yes.
Yeah, only
It
one,
is
100,000, 100,000.
100,000. Yes.
Yeah.
Ah, same too. I born in Ipiales in the frontier with Ecuador, at south of Colombia.
Oh yeah.
Is more or less they are 100,000 to uh, persons in Ipiales in the front with Ecuador.
Yeah.
Uh, yes. Ah, okay, Mark. But what is your expectative with respect your work? Is uh, work work in your city or search work in other city?
I think I should gain experience before I would search like a job in the other cities or maybe other countries. So I think for now I just looking job in my cities because it's convenient to me work in my city and live with my parents and
Hmm.
like because I mean I don't have experience in this major, and it's really matter to find this experience before I would uh, search a job in other cities, big cities, or other countries, whichever.
No, yes, it's very complex. But in your country is a country with industry or with what is the principal economy in your?
Okay, like we have several like sectors, segments of economy in Ukraine. Like a big part of our economy based on agriculture because we export a lot of wheat, cereal wheat to other countries like China and Europe. Also, like our industrial industrial segment is really important is metals because Ukraine produce different metals like iron and black metals, other different metals, and I think like its black industry of metals also is really important in Ukraine, and we have different mines in Ukraine, like quad mines, and uh, several mines. In my particular my city, we have like dozens of mines, a lot of mines, and they produce coal. So, but I think like it's major industries like agriculture, production of metals, coal, and chemicals, because we also produce a lot of chemicals for agriculture sector, and I think it's like a major production sphere in Ukraine. So,
No, yes. But with respect to profession or your job, is you are engineer,
yeah,
yes,
engineer. Yeah.
engineer. In one special engineer, automotor, or the cars, or
No, no, no.
engineer electronic, or
I
no.
I'm a civil engineer. I'm the one who build buildings. I'm the one
Ah,
who
yeah, yeah, yeah.
makes projects
For
and
the constructions,
yeah,
the
construction.
building. Ah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
In Spanish is civil engineer,
yeah,
engineer,
Yeah,
civil
yeah,
is
yeah.
same English,
Civil engineer.
civil.
yeah.
Ah,
Civil
okay.
engineer. Yeah, that is
Yeah,
Civil
the
engineer.
career.
Ah,
But he is a civil engineer.
yes, yes. With respect to constructions in Ukraine, because uh, I, 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 the country uh, is affect for wars for conflicts inter-conflicts with Russia with other countries eh,
do you interested
and
in conflict between Ukraine and Russia or what?
no with conflicts I don't know uh, my friend told me with respect the inter conflict
Yeah, yeah.
the country in this moment the country is better they are more best economy with more construction with more is better in this moment the situation of your country
It's
or
more stabilized.
stabilize.
Yeah, more stability. We have more stability in the at the time than before because we have some agreements between Ukraine and Russia, and so we like get along today. I mean, better than in past.
Is
It's
better.
better.
It's important for you because they are more money and more uh, industry to develop develop buildings and rider and I don't know. Yes.
Yeah. It's really important to Ukraine get along with our neighbors because we share with Russia um, approximately 15 territory, like 50% of border we share with Russia. So Russia is our major trade partner and a major like partner in business. So it's really important to Ukraine get along with Russia and to be good partners and lead honest business with Russia because it's
Oh,
really important to be
yes,
honest partners.
yes, yes. And Ukraine is touristic. It's a country touristic, no? In this moment, I
You
listen other person. They are. It's a good place, a good city, a good country to know in this moment. I think
uh,
it's okay. Or,
it's it's good. We have some good cities. Like mostly, they are situated not in the east side of Ukraine, but in the west side that near from Poland. And those cities
uh,
are really beautiful. And Ukraine is a good country, like touristical country, because we have really cheap prices of hostels and cheap
yes.
food, cheap alcohol, cheap cigarettes. Everything there is cheap, and women also cheap. So like
Yes.
you can find a lot of enjoyments here because like Ukraine is beautiful, but also we have really good prices of everything, and it's in Europe. It's the most cheapest country in Europe is Ukraine for now.
Okay,
So
it's good.
and
In
it's good
what
destination. Yeah.
in what cities or place do you recommend? For
Uh,
example, in 3 days to know in Ukraine, what cities or place in 3 days, for example?
yeah. I got it. You you can. plane to, you can get a ticket to Kiev and
Yeah.
go to the Kiev, and after you should, Kiev is not worth to spend like more than 1 day, because it's not really like the best city that I have seen. You should buy train ticket to Lviv, that city near Ukraine and between Ukraine, like situated near Poland, and that city is really
Airport.
beautiful. Lviv,
What
and
city? Kiev? Kiev?
no,
Or
no,
the
no.
cap? No, near to Poland, between
Yeah,
Kiev,
yeah, near
uh,
to Poland.
Poland.
That city calls Lviv.
Paul, what is the name?
Okay, I will send you a message with the name of that city, Lviv, or Lvov. It's va.
Yeah.
Okay, Lviv or Lvov. I don't know. I
Leopolis,
Yeah.
Rivne.
So it's really beautiful city because architecture of Lviv in the style of European architecture, and it was built by Polish architects, and it's really beautiful. It's like amazing. It's just amazing city. So you should stay there for 2 days or 1 day, and after you can come back to Kiev and return to your country from Kiev, because between that city, Lviv, and Kiev goes a really fast train that it takes like
Yeah,
4 or 5 hours to get from one point to another. It's easy. So it's my recommendation to you.
but is the temperature the, is cool in this moment, no? How
Yeah, like
much
yeah,
grade centigrades, less of 0 grados,
yeah. We have
grades centigrade.
yeah we have a temperature below 0 Celsius, and it's a little bit cold now. But I think in April, in March, it would start spring, and it would be like great for visiting. I mean, in the springtime, in the summertime, in the fall time, it's the best seasons to visit Ukraine or any European country.
Yes, yes, yes. In general, yes. No, because no, because in the next month I need to go. I will go to Finland, to
Oh yeah, yeah.
Helsinki. Yes, and I have 2 or 3 days free, but I don't know uh,
To book calls.
if it's possible. Yes, to go the Ukraine, and I
Oh,
don't
you
know.
you 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 thinking about from Finland to Ukraine or something like that, or what? Do you think about going from Finland to Ukraine?
Yes, it's possible. The Finland to Ukraine. I no. My travel is the first city is Barcelona, and
Oh yeah,
Barcelona and
you should visit
Barcelona.
Barcelona. It's like the most beautiful city in the world.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
very nice. I I I was in Barcelona the last the 1 year ago. Is a beautiful city. The food, the 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 city in general is nice.
Yeah.
Is good. Yeah. Okay. And what other question? Teacher, do you have one question to Mark from Ukraine? What
Well,
is the principal language in Ukraine?
Oh, so
Is
we have like Ukraine is a bilingual country because we have Russian and Ukrainian, and everyone can understand both of languages, or Ukrainian or Russian. My native language is Russian, but like my second language is Ukrainian, and I speak freely in Ukrainian. So. like 70% of people have Ukrainian as native language, and 30% of other people have Russian as native language. But
Yes.
everyone can understand each other. It's okay
But
there.
the city is more near to Russia, speak
Yeah,
more
yeah,
Russian.
like yeah. My
Yes.
city is near to
Is
Russia,
near.
and that's the reason why there are people used to speak in Russian. And the
Yeah.
cities that near to Poland used to speak in Ukrainian, and more people there also can speak Polish language because they
Polish.
yeah they used to work in Poland and have relatives, Polish
Uh,
relatives.
is similar the are similar the language
It's
or
it's it's
between
like I think it's
Russian?
like Portuguese and Spanish. It's
Oh,
quite
so
understandable. Yeah, it's so like it takes really small amount of time to figure out pronunciation and like words and so on. It's really easy to learn Polish language to Ukrainian people. So it's really close languages.
no, okay, yes, is 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 good. All this teacher
So,
question.
well, I just was listening to you, a very interesting conversation. That's why I just decided to be quiet because I see you speaking in a very interesting conversation, and that is the great advantages that we can have when we meet someone, and how good is to learn about people cultures. You see that. And what do you know about Colombia, Mark?
Oh, I have a very weak knowledge about Colombia. I mean, mostly people who live in Ukraine know Colombia only about cocaine. It's like their association with Colombia. But I know that in Colombia people used to speak Spanish. I know that country is situated in the North South America, and I mean I don't have enough knowledge about Colombia. Like I never been in Latin America, and I even never been out of Europe. I don't have a lot of knowledge about your country.
Okay, well, but that's this is the chance to know a little more. If
Yeah,
I can see that it's really a pity because most or in different parts of the world, the image of Colombians is not the best because people, like you said, earlier.
yeah.
You said cocaine is the first impact that people think of Colombians, but that's something different. It's something bad because Colombia is more than that, right? Is and because of
Yes.
one or two or well, there is a great amount of people who travels around the world and they leave bad image of our country. But at this moment, I don't know if you know one of the Chris Froome. Do you know him? Chris Froome. Chris
Chris,
Froome. He was the winner of the Tour of France. He rides
Okay.
bicycle. He's a sportman.
oh no, I'm not into bicycle sport, so
No,
I don't know him
but
because I'm not into that sport.
yeah,
So
but you have heard about the Tour of France. Now it's
yeah,
okay.
that's really famous. Yeah, I know
Okay,
it. Yeah.
yeah, but he was or he has been one of the winners of this competition. Yeah.
Yeah.
And at this moment, Mark, sorry,
Uh,
he's in Colombia, and and he's in Colombia because he's going to take part in a I think it's in a competition related to riding bicycles. And something that is very important, Mark, to tell the world is that when one person who doesn't know any about Colombians and they arrived in Colombia and they say, "Oh, wow, I thought Colombia was different because of the image that they have
Yeah.
before." And many people, as in rumors, they talk badly about Colombians, but Colombia is more than that. As I said to you earlier, Colombia is coffee. Colombia is flowers. Colombia is a very beautiful country, has two oceans. Colombia is also its people also very warm. We like to be and so friendly. Colombians.
Yeah.
Colombians are
yes.
I don't know if you know famous singer Shakira, for example.
Yeah. 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 I
Uh,
know her.
and Shakira, and right now there's some rhythm that people enjoy dancing. They also have vives. We have a very special folk music that is vallenato, and but there's a lot of things.
Salsa.
Yes, salsa. We live in one of the most important cities in Colombia, that is Cali. In Cali, people love dancing salsa. I don't know if you have heard about dancing salsa.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. I heard about that dance. Yeah.
yeah, and I took some salsa lessons in Cali, and I met a girl who is from Ukraine, and she decided to live in Colombia, especially in Cali, and she learned to dance salsa music. And she lives here in Cali, and this girl, she said that she arrived in Cali because she came to do something, but she fell in love with this city and she decided not to go back to Ukraine. That is something that, and she said, no, I love Colombia, I love Cali, I love the
The
city,
teacher.
and the reason is
Yeah.
because of this. Maybe is the when people talk about your place, the place where you had where you were born, and people don't know, it's important that we explain people what's the most important reasons to know about the country, the city, because Colombia, and also you see that in Colombia we coffee, Colombian coffee is still famous
Yeah. Yeah.
throughout the world. People talk about Colombian coffee, and now that is Valentine's Day. Colombia is one of the
Uh,
first flower exporters of to the United
Oh, yeah.
States. So there are a lot of things so to know about Colombia more
Yeah.
than that stigma, because people
no,
say
yes,
Colombians. Yeah. Okay, Andres, you're going to
yes,
say
but
something.
yes, teacher, but this is normal. The other persons think this the about Colombia, but
Mhm.
because this is the reality,
Yeah, it
it's a
is.
reality, not cocaine, the production of cocaine, and desafortunately, the principal series in TV in Netflix are Narcos, Pablo Escobar,
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
all people see these uh, these series
Yeah.
in Netflix, and that is
Yeah, they
impactant
impact.
the person impact to
Yeah.
this person and oh Colombia, oh narco traffic, Pablo Escobar, oh yeah, yes, but it's a reality. But I think if they are persons to buy cocaine, I think is very difficult now produce more cocaine because the business is very good business
Yeah,
with
that is very and exists a high demand in cocaine throughout the
yes.
world, and
If if they are uh,
consumers.
people rich with money to buy cocaine, I think Colombia, Mexico, and other countries, poor countries, I will produce.
Yeah,
When you say produce,
yeah,
produce, no?
produce.
I will produce the cocaine. But yes, this is Colombia is
Yeah,
stigmatized,
yeah, it's a
is
stigma to say that.
Yeah.
is stigmatized, yeah, for this problem. But in general, Colombia is same to other country, is one special country in this moment, is more safe because they are in negotiations with uh, other groups, irregular groups.
Hmm.
Is for this reason is more safe. The economy is the third economy from Latin America. For example, the first economy is the Brazilian economy. Second economy is Chile economy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and third economy, best economy is Colombia. And Colombia and Peru are new countries with best options to live in South America. Eh, the the capital is Bogota. It's a big
Yeah.
city, more or less 7 or 8 million of persons. In total, in Colombia, they are 60 millions of persons. Bogota, 8 million. Medellin is the second city, more or less 3 million. And Cali, when we live, is the third city, more or less 2.5 million of persons. It's nice visit visit Colombia because it's a country with they are different climates, different temperatures. For example, in Bogota, the capital, the temperature promedio is more or less between 10 and 20 grades centigrades. In Cali is hot all time, more or less 20, 30 grades centigrades. In the sea, in the beach, the temperature is more 30 grades centigrades. And then if in Cali is possible now, for example, I like uh, go as the temperature more cool or at city more high. For example, in 20 minutes, I am in to 10 grades centigrades with very cool drinking beer or drinking coffee or tea with cheese. I don't know. It's different. It's nice because now here is hot. In 20 minutes,
Yeah.
I am in a place cool. Is good. And the to visit Colombia, for example, is cheap. For example, one a lunch for one dinner is more or less $2-3. The one hotel, regular hotel, for 2-3 stars, is possible to pay more or less 20-25 dollars. Yes, it's good. The food is very good food. They are soaps, sancocho, and beans with beets. Uh, they are is a good place to visit all time, all because is localized in equatorial line, and then is possible to visit all time. Yes.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
yes, this is Colombia. No, and South America is good place. They are good place to visit. For example, Argentina is famous
Yeah,
for to visit. Near to Colombia is Ecuador, for example.
yeah.
Uh, yes, Ecuador is very nice. It's more sure, safe, more safe to Colombia to visit Ecuador. In Ecuador, there are a lot tourists from USA, Canada, Europe. In Colombia now they are is most popular to visit because it's more safe. 10, 20 years ago,
Yeah.
the situation of Colombia uh, was very bad for the same for this problem because uh, no control with production of cocaine and no uh, the illegal groups uh, tenían
Had,
had had armas
yeah,
guns
weapons.
guns guns and it was very dangerous to live in Colombia. But now it's okay to live and to visit Colombia. Yes, yes,
Do you
Mark.
think which country has most beautiful girls in Latin America?
the,
Argentina or is
no, 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 no. Eh, I know a lot countries in South America, in Central America, North America, Europe, Asia. I was in Thailand. I know, but for me, the beautiful ladies or women is in Colombia
Yeah,
because
I
in
agree with
Colombia,
you.
for example, no, yes, because in Medellin, for example, they are beautiful ladies with a face,
Beautiful.
uh, a
Yeah,
face beautiful. Yes, it's very linda. The face
yeah,
is
beautiful
nice. Yeah,
face. Yeah.
yeah. Should I
beautiful.
know Spanish to approach to those girls? Or
Uh,
I can talk with English with those girls. Should I
uh,
know Spanish?
Yeah, but of course, if you want to learn how to speak Spanish, yeah, you have an open door to speak to them.
Okay, okay.
But do you know any Spanish?
Oh no, 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 I don't know
Zero.
Spanish. No, no,
yes.
no, not zero. I can say hola and como estas and buenas noches.
Okay.
That's all.
Yes,
Yeah.
but Mark, but with respect to the woman, the Colombia is particular because in Medellin, the second city, they are beautiful ladies with face. But in Cali, they are beautiful ladies, but they are different with more voluptuous.
Yeah, big breasts,
It's
for
different.
example, big
Big brass.
breasts.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so beautiful
Yeah.
girls.
It's different. In Bogota, no, no, because they are, it's cool, the city, and just the ladies is with jackets
Yeah, they put on
and the
jackets.
sweaters. Yes,
Oh,
it's
oh
different.
yeah, I see.
Yes, yes, but in the coast, in the Cartagena, is a very tourist city because it's a colonial city and they are many tourists in general. It's a good place to visit Colombia in general. Yes, the Ecuador lady is not is good. Is not good. The Argentine, I don't know. I don't like the Argentine.
Argentina?
Uh, yes, yes, yes. In fourth time, I I was I have been in Argentina. I the last year I knew
I knew.
uh, I knew the Patagonia.
Yeah, yeah,
Patagonia. Uh,
yeah, I know about.
El Calafate is very tourist because for for the people in Colombia is very uh, it's not common to see the snow. Uh, for me, for example, the snow is
Oh
not
yeah.
common to see, and when
It's never
uh,
snowing
I,
there.
yes, this is different. I think in Ukraine there is snow.
Yeah,
In,
we have like outside of my house now snow is everywhere because
yeah,
we have a winter time and it's like just snowing and after snow accumulated more and you just see more snow and people used to clean roads and I'm also with the shovels we need to clean our roads to go everywhere and because it's impossible to walk on the roads with full of snow, you know, so it could be problem
yes,
in this time.
that's a big problem. Yes, here they are there aren't
Yeah,
this
that's good.
problem. Yeah.
Yeah, and also and what do you think about for example, but because you say that you don't know too much about riding bicycle, but what sports do you practice? Soccer or tennis?
Uh, like in Ukraine, in general, people really like men really like watch and play football, play soccer. Okay, but I'm not like a big fan of watching television or soccer. I like play when I was a student. I used to play tennis, like ping pong, you know,
Hmm.
with a small racket,
Yeah.
like in small table. I like play chess, you know. I like board games like chess and like other board games. And I like this kind of intellectual, maybe
Hmm.
kind of games like but we also like to play pool, you know, in the pub bars or in other different cafe like pools, you know, with a game where you shoot shoot balls with a stick, you know, pool. So that's kind of
Mm.
games I play.
Okay,
With respect to the
Yeah,
I'm
okay, so
sorry.
go on, Andre. Okay, ask.
No, no. With respect to the food, what is the typical food? Beef
Uh,
or
like we, like uh, Ukrainian nation doesn't have any restrictions in food. Like, you know, we like religion restrictions in food. Like we have like people used to be very open-minded with the food, so we eat everything that we like. And like our cuisine is you know, it's something like between Russian and Polish cuisine, but it's also has their own dishes, you know, and different dishes, really, really tasty dishes, like really famous dishes. It's borscht, it's soup. It's the red soup with different vegetables and with usually with meat of beef or maybe uh,
pork
that yeah,
with
maybe pork.
potatoes?
It depends. And yeah, we have like a Ukrainian type of bacon. It's a little bit different from general bacon, but it's also the product from pork. Also, like I mean, you would like you when you will go to Ukraine, you will appreciate Ukrainian cuisine because it's really tasty. But we can say that it's also really fatty cuisine because I think that's because we live in a cold country with winter time, and people used to eat fatty food because it's like we have to have a lot of energy in the
Mhm.
winter time because it's really cold, and if you don't have a lot of energy, you just freeze outside. So our cuisine, I think it's really fat, but also really tasty. So
Yeah, so
yeah,
yeah,
it's really
so
good.
I understand that. Yeah, because of the weather, you need to consume fatty food.
Yeah,
Yeah, that is the reason. Because
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
okay, and do you have how many members are in your family?
Oh, currently my sister, she is older than me 7 years. She lives in Germany with her husband, and I live with my parents there. So we have 4 members in my family. So
And do they speak English too, like you do?
what?
Do they learn to speak English like you do, like you, or they don't speak, just they are only bilingual, they speak Ukraine and only the native
Yeah, yeah,
language,
yeah.
or they speak
Okay.
English too?
In Ukraine, yeah, like Ukraine, it's just example of a country that people, like in general, older people don't speak foreign languages
Hmm.
because in Soviet Union, those people brought up in Soviet Union, you know, education system, and Soviet Union education system didn't pay much attention about foreign languages. So in Ukraine, if you will arrive to Ukraine, it would be, I think, a little bit difficult to communicate with other people because mostly older people, like after 30, it's kind of difficult to find anyone who who speaks in English good. Like
Hmm.
it would be difficult. So my parents don't speak English at all and any other foreign language at all. And mostly like every one in Ukraine older than 30 doesn't speak any foreign languages because it was that they was bringing up in the environment of Soviet Union when Soviet Union wanted to close their borders and keep people in the that environment, Soviet Union environment, and people never traveled in other countries. So that's a reason.
Okay. So, and how long have you been speaking English or learning to speak English? Is just recently, or it has taken a lot of years learning the language?
I have been studying 2 years English.
Yeah, two
So
years now, and but
yeah, two
the
years from now.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I also have another question, and how about high schools or schools? Do they teach English at schools or no? Or English is not a subject to teach?
We like yeah, high schools education systems have English as a facultative subject, but like in my school, teachers were really bad, like just imagine unimaginable bad, because um, I don't know why. I mean, I know why because like system just can't produce good teachers because those teachers never was in other like in English speaking country and I mean several reasons we have several I know about different reasons why teachers aren't good in Ukraine like
Mm-hmm.
in Ukraine in my city and why in my I in high school didn't have much notions about English when I was a student. I like only in my like only 2 years ago I started learning English and I started to uh, understand English at all. So, but in Kiev, situation is better, and now like mostly uh, in mostly every school try to like push up level of education better and better, and teachers are more experienced and better than before, and I think I think it just goes to better and better education. It's my opinion.
Okay, and do you have a question? Any question, Andres, about the language?
Oh, for you, teacher, what is your opinion with respect to the the English uh, in to learn English in Colombia? You you think is good, regular, bad?
Okay.
What do you
Well,
think?
that is a good question. That's a good question, and I think is when I have the chance to share these answers with my colleagues or people who speak English or people who plan to learn to speak English. My personal opinion is that learning English nowadays is so different from learning English 20 or 30 or 50 years ago, right? The reason is because of right now there are many tools, many ways that people can say that I'm going to learn to speak any language because English is not the only one language that you can speak right now or nowadays. But learning a language today, I think, depends on the person. Now, that is the first scenery. It depends on the person. Second, I think if you have taken the decisions to learn, you may do it, right? Because right now, when one person takes the decisions to learn a language, there are reasons. There are people who say, I decided to learn English this year. I don't know, but I'm going to do my best to learn the language, and it's probably that people will learn the language. There's another situation that I think the the age plays a very important role. The age, and secondly, I think that not only the age is is the way how the person get approaches to the language, because learning English in Colombia, in my country, I think that it's a good way to learn, especially for bilingual schools. Now, bilingual schools in Colombia, they have a good and schematic and structured way that in that most of their students, when they start from kindergarten until they finish high school, just bilingual schools, they have a very right and schematic way to teach English, and the students they learn English through those years. For others who decide to learn English when they are, for example, they are adults, or I think is sometimes it's a little hard for some people who are maybe adults because they don't have, in some ways, the discipline. I think discipline plays a very important role because English, as I always say, English is not the morning, good afternoon, good evening. English is more than that. English tells you that you need to learn, speaking, listening, reading, and writing. Those four skills measure where you're going to, right? But if the person who plans to learn a language in Colombia, because we speak Spanish, so because actually people say it's kind of hard to learn English in Colombia because most of the time we speak Spanish. But I think that is not a good reason because nowadays you can see it. At this moment, we are online practicing English, and since they invented the internet, right now we can cross all borders, all frontiers. So only with a click of a button, we say we are in China. With a click of a button, we move throughout the world. So learning a language tells you that if you need only to take the decisions to do it. And it's easy or it's difficult depending on the person. Do you understand me, Andres? Or what do you think of what
Yes.
I'm telling you? Because I think, uh, you see, one of my students, he is 89 years old. 89, and this person says to me, um, I need to learn English no matter if it takes longer, but I need to learn English. I have a lot of frustrations since I was a little kid, but right now I would like to learn. Now, but I think that the first and most important step is when the person takes the decisions to do. Now, soon after you take the decision, you have to be really conscious that learning a language is not really easy because you need to spend time, you need to learn, you need to do several things. But if you decide to, and you are very committed, you're very engaged to improve it, you will do it. As you remember, Andres, the person you met last week, who is Brandon, and he said, "Okay, I practice my English for 4 times or 4 hours a day, or 1 hour." I think The problem is not the amount of hours you want to practice language. I think it's the quality of time that you spend practicing the language. In Colombia, right now, I think there are many people who speak good English. Many. Now, not only people who have finished the high school, bilingual schools, but also people, for example, I met one girl who lives in Cartagena, and this girl, she said, I learned English by listening to songs, English songs. Now, and I don't know how she did it, but she listens to songs, and she said, through this way, she learns to listen to them, and she learns new words and expressions because she considers that learning to listening to songs may be the best way for her. And this girl, she learns to speak English. So each
Mhm.
person decides to, or each person discovers, what my way is going to be. I decide, and each person is different from the other one because maybe for one person it's easy to speak freely, for others speaking freely is not easy. So people feel that they are afraid, they feel that they have fears, and it's not easy for them to speak. But I think with the condition and with the commitment that any person in our country, because we are in the 21st century, in this century, I think with all the tools that internet offers you, or not only internet, because if you have no internet and you have people who speak English and you want to practice your English, there's not a problem. Now the idea or the intention, the goal or the target is that the person has taken the decision. Do you see? And as soon as you take the decision, you may have access to speak and to improve it. Because each time you open your mouth to listen to another accent, another person from other parts of the world, you learn something. For example, today we have learned something from Mark. You see that, and Mark, he has learned something from us. Why? Well, yeah, because English has opened a lot of cultures. And you see, internet connections, the way how we are getting in touch has opened doors to speak English. No matter the place where you are located, no matter the hour, the goal is that you need to take the decisions to make your English advances. Do you understand what I mean?
Yes, yes, teacher.
And what do you think of this,
Yeah.
Andres?
Yes, in general, in the schools, the 20 years ago are is better the education with respect to the English. Now is obligatory for all schools uh, enseñar
To
uh,
teach?
is teach
Yes.
teach English in all schools. Uh, because when I was in the school, the English was only 2 years.
Mhm.
The only the 2 last years in the school is only no only English is the education 20 years ago are was bad. uh, and now is better. Uh, yes, with respect to the different uh, tips or different what do you say, for to learn English is real because they are different intelligence,
Yeah,
yes, is just
intelligence.
intelligence. They are different intelligence for each person.
Hmm.
For example, the intelligence visual,
Hmm.
intelligence auditive,
Yeah,
or kinesthetic.
yeah,
Kinesthetic
yeah,
is with
yeah.
touch.
Hands
Yeah,
on.
yeah, yes. These are the different, the three principal intelligence. It's important to find the what is my intelligence. For
Yeah.
example, I think I am more visual.
Hmm.
I need to see, to write, to see, to to learn.
Yeah.
For example, I am bad listen music. For example, I
Hmm.
don't understand the music
Yeah.
in English. Yes, yes. This is me
Appreciation.
appreciation.
Yeah,
Yes.
that is true. But I also want to tell you something, right? That in Colombia, the best, for example, if we make reference to bilingual schools, they make better investments on English, on these type of educations than public schools. Bilingual schools, they have a structure, because they know that if they don't invest in a good method, in a good also human human factor, they will not get the same results. Public schools, some English teachers in Colombia, they don't have the good preparations to teach. The problem is, and maybe the other thing is, the situation relies on the government because public schools, they don't teachers at public schools, they don't have the enough preparation. No matter, some of them have finished at some important universities, but it depends on if the teacher does not speak or has a good method, their pupils, their students will not get the same things, right? So I understand that in certain ways they try to make a lot of efforts how to teach the language, but at bilingual schools, they make more good investment on the teachers. They bring, for example, native English speaking teachers. They invest on a lot of good tools, and and they also monitor their processes of their students since they start learning the language. So one student who starts at kindergarten, they have a process, and when they finish, they obviously evaluate the process, and then they goes to the next level, and also they monitor and they are making more investment on checking, on supervising their processes. The problem is when some systems or they don't follow and they don't pay close attention to the results, but at the end, if you want to actually for a good conclusion, I think it's no matter if I have no a good English teacher, I have no the very best place to study English at, but now there are tools. There are tons, thousand tools that we can also have a chance to improve our language. No matter, because maybe people may say, okay, I feel not so good at learning this language because I don't have someone or I don't have anyone who I can practice my English with. But right now, I said we are in the 21st century. We have internet. There are thousands, millions of applications, sites, and right now I can see that 20, 40 years ago, it's impossible or it was so hard to meet someone who knows how to speak English. Right now, it's so easy, extremely easy, or because you can speak, as I said to you earlier, only with a click of a button, you are in other parts of the world. Just with a click of a button. I said, and you can have a chance to listen to people from different parts of the world who speak English. So my commitment is that if I am studying English, I need to spend time to practice my English because it's my responsibility. I need to improve it. As I said to you, English needs to, I need to improve my level day by day. So how can I do it? Well, Andres said to us something that is clear. You need to identify what's the easy way or the method or the system that you can learn easier. So as soon as you identify it, do it. So maybe for this person it's easy to learn by listening, but for this person it's easier learning English by speaking. You see, but we cannot close our options to improve it. We have to be really open-minded and being realistic that no one learns something all at once. It's a process. Day after day, months after months, and year after years. Do you understand me?
Yes, teacher, I understand.
So,
You, Mark, you understand?
Yeah, I
yeah,
understand everything. I think the main idea in learning any other language is to be patient, and it's like it's we you and I we should understand that it's just a routine. It's not something like you can wake up at in some morning and be fluent in English. It's just impossible. It's really long and unsteady process that we can make it faster, but we should pay more energy and pay more patience if we want to accelerate this process. But I mean, it's just a routine. It's like workout for your brains. I mean, when you when someone goes to gym to gymnasium, he would be bigger only after years of training. And it's the same situation with learning other language because I mean it's really difficult. Not only like also not just intellectual work. It's work of your muscles, of your mouth. I mean it's uh, different sounds that in English, different phonetic is really different from your language native, and you should also work on your muscles and your mouth. And I mean, it's an really big amount of time consumes by all of this training. So we just have to be like I don't know, patient because it takes time and eventually it pays off. So I mean, just do your work. So we have to do our work.
I agree with that. So what do you think of this, Andres?
Yes, is
how do you see Andreas learning English in Colombia? About your question, how do you see the process of a person who learns English in a country like Colombia, in which 90 or 100% of these people speak Spanish? How do you see it in French? Learning English in Colombia?
no, in Colombia. Uh, a few persons speak learn English because the majority the persons in Colombia are poor.
Hmm.
Uh, More or less the 80%, 80% are poor.
Poor.
Uh, Poor, yes. The I think one person poor, she this person work to eat, to pay the apartment or the pay to room, but don't don't have the interest to learn English
Hmm.
because necessary time and is necessary uh, uh, is just time and money is possible
Yeah,
not
that
to.
is true.
And then I think in this moment 5%, 1% of people in Colombia uh, uh, to know the language English and speak and listen English. The the schools are better now.
Yeah,
Yes,
you
it's,
think schools are better
the
now?
schools. Yes, 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 yes. Because it's most important in this moment in the curriculum
Hmm.
uh, uh, teach English. Yes, it's most important.
Okay.
Yes, I
And
think that.
what about, for example, when because there are people who are planning to study English in other English speaking countries, for example. I think that's a very good experience too.
uh, for speak English.
Yes, because I said to you, there are people, for example, they want to, one person who knows nothing about English, and this person decides to travel to the United States to learn English, and she or he purchases a package, a touristic package to be immersed for 2 months, only living in the United States in a place where people don't speak any Spanish. Do you think that 2 months will be a good way to, if I decided to travel to the United States, to live for 2 months, my learning will advance? For example, one person wants to improve, and this person decides to purchase a package to live for 1 or 2 months in the United States to learn English. Now you have the experience, Brett. What do you think of this way, for example, for those who decide to travel to a foreign country to learn English?
Yeah. No, I think the principal is the intention and motivation to learn English because if I don't the the motivation to
Hmm.
learn
Yeah.
is not possible to learn. I in with respect to travel another place
Hmm.
is I think is important, but with a base of the basic or elemental English,
English knowledge.
because is yes, because if you don't know the language, is uh, is i-
Productive. Yes.
improductive the to stay in other country. Uh, yes, I think.
What do you think of that, Mark?
Yeah, I think 2 months it's really a small time. I think it's even it's impossible to reach good fluency for such a period of time. And I mean, in Ukraine, Europe, we have a gradation of knowledge of other languages, like different graduation, like A, B, and C uh, uh, efficiency of knowledge of foreign language. And A, it's elementary level, B, it's intermediate level, and C, it's advanced. And I mean, to go in other country for studying language in the environment, I think it's would be reasonable decision only if you already if the people already known the language on the intermediate level in the level of B, maybe B2, and after in a country with uh, foreign language environment that people could reach advancement level or native level fluency. But before, I think it's just pointless because you wouldn't like. I mean, I was in Poland last summer, and when I was in my early 20s, I've tried to study Polish, and I know some really simple phrases, simple words, and can talk in basic conversation. And I was in Polish, and I don't understand people, and I can't conversate with people in a good way. And it was, I mean, in English, it was much better and much efficient to communicate with other people than in Polish. So just if someone reaches intermediate level, it's a good choice uh, to move in the country where people used to speak in that language. But before, I think it's just pointless.
It's just
And I also want to ask you a question. Um, how easy is to hold a long conversation, or because there are many people who I know that they, for example, they may feel very comfortable when you try to speak just for 10 or 15 minutes and it's enough, or you think, the way how we can improve the language, we need to speak a lot, more than 1 hour a day, or but speaking, the production of your voice, and you want to exercise, you need to work out your brain, because otherwise it's impossible that I make my learning, my speaking improves. What do you think of this? So it will be necessarily important to make in contact, or to be in contact with the speaking process.
Is it a question for me?
Yeah, for both.
Okay, okay, okay. I try first to answer to that question. I think I don't pay too much attention to like conversation with people, but I think it's much more important to read aloud books. It's much more important. I don't. How can I say it? Exercise than just conversation with other people. Because when you read other books, like original books in English, like original authors. It's really a good exercise because you encounter a lot of new words, new phrases, and you also can read phrases several times and can notice accents and what the word you should uh, mm, accent and phrases and so on. But also it's very important, just important every day do something. It doesn't matter you would read something or you will speak with the other person. It's up to you. But it's really important to exercise your muscles because I have, like I said before, in Russian and English, it's really far away languages in pronunciation, in phonetics, phonetics in that sounds and so on. So for Russians or Ukrainians, any Slavic person, is just really really important to speak every day or read a book or something because uh, we should to train our muscles and it's my opinion.
Yes. With yes, it's very interesting. All you say, but I think it's important all the read and speak is important. For example, my wife, she I think she read very well, but when she uh, have to speak is not don't speak
No, no.
because
What I mean, we have to speak aloud. I mean, when you have to read aloud. When you read just silently,
no.
you it's just it's another way. It's just other like you better uh, understand information when you speak and uh,
Yes.
and also you train your ears because when you read a book, so for example I read a book, I'm not just only understand this information visible, you know, I'm also
Yes.
understand this information through my ears and plus I train my muscles in my mouth,
Yes.
so it's like three exercises in one tube in one box, you know. So I think it's like the must the best exercise that you can do when you alone, when you have a time, and when you want to do it. So
Mhm. Yes.
so
Good. Yes. Yes. Teacher, in the I'm sorry, but in this last minute, I can change the time for conversation for one question to Mark.
Yeah, of course. Do
Uh,
you want to
yes,
ask
yes,
him? Yeah,
yes,
of
yes.
course.
Oh, yes, because I work with the health in Colombia, no? How is the health in your country?
okay,
Is
yeah. Okay, I have knowledge about it because I my mother is a dentist, is a
yeah,
dentist. So and my sister is also a dentist, and she is trying to find a work in Germany, and her husband is surgeon as you. So
mm,
I have I'm into this sphere, so I can say that. Uh, we have not a bad health system, but doctors in general they don't satisfied by salary. So that's the reason why husband of my sister moved into Germany, and he found a job in Germany as a surgeon. So before he has worked in Ukraine as a surgeon, but he has learned German language, and he moved in Germany, and now he works there as a surgeon. So, like a lot of doctors think that we have Ukraine have to pay more to doctors because, like compared with any other countries, in Ukraine, doctors have really less salary than in Polish, even in Poland or Russia or any other country. But I can say that it's really cheap for Ukrainian people and European people to get good operations or I mean, for Europe, many Europeans come visit Ukraine just to uh, uh, just to cure their teeth because it's really cheap in Ukraine to cure teeth because
Yes,
it's really cheap there. But
but
it's cheap, but its quality of uh, health system is good. So
the, but the system to health is good. It is
I
free
think
for is free for all
yeah yeah
persons,
yeah.
or you need to pay to 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 have
Yeah.
to the health. Where is
O-
the
Okay, it's a little bit difficult to explain because we have everyone can get health curement without any pain at all. But also everyone should buy the drugs on their own because it's just I mean if I want to get some operation, I have to buy drugs, have to buy anabolics, have to buy everything because it's on my everything on my own, and
mm,
also it's up to me to pay a surgeon over his I mean, I don't know. It's something like a bribe, It's difficult to
mm.
explain. But we used to pay bribes, okay, to doctors because I mean it's something like I want to gratitude that person. I want to make I want to pay for his work more than just his salary. So people used to give bribes or something or just presents to doctors, and it's
uh,
like a traditional common situation. So
but for example, if you in this moment you have the appendicitis, for example, the inflammation of
yeah, yeah,
appendices is an emergency, no? If
yeah, yeah.
you go to the
Yeah,
hospital,
I have.
ah, yeah, ah, yeah, yeah. It's necessary you pay or your father necessary to pay before,
It's
or the attention is free in the moment and then you pay, or you is necessary to pay drugs after the surgery. Well, how is this for example in this case?
So in this case, it's hard to explain just because like some hospitals are corrupt, you know, and in some hospitals, doctors aren't honest, you know, and they want you pay money before operation, like
Yeah.
you should to pay bribe before the operation. But otherwise, when I was in Kiev, when I was a student, and uh, I had been studying in Kiev, I had an issue with my knee. You know, okay, I had an issue. I uh, chopped my knee, and I had to get a really quick operation on my knee, and it was without any pain at all. I mean, everything was on budget of a hospital, and I was operated without paying any monies at all. So,
Hmm.
I mean, and this is like the best situation when I mean all operations. I mean, when patient doesn't need to pay any money. But
Yeah.
otherwise, in my city, when I get also in my hand some issues, I chopped my hand, and I had to also get a quick operation. And surgeon told me that I have to pay. It was like something like $10,
Ah,
but
shit.
it's
Shit.
cheap. I mean, it's cheap, and it's not like some cosmic some
Yeah.
yeah. It's just it's feasible to pay those money. I mean, I think be okay with it. I mean, I'm okay with it. I mean, I think everything is okay. Other
No.
people have other opinion about it, but it's my opinion. I mean, I think
It's good.
hell, yeah, I think like my idea in common health system is okay, and it's affordable. We can afford to get uh, to be operated, to get everything. Drugs are cheaper,
Mm.
and I'm
Yes.
satisfied with that. So yeah,
They are the attention. They are the the hospitals, the personnel, the drugs. It's okay. It's good. Yes.
yeah,
It's, they
Okay.
are the attention. Yes, teacher.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay. No, I just was going to say that right now, what time is in your country, Mark, at this moment?
oh,
7 or more.
I have 1 p.m. In my
When
country.
1 a.m.
P.m.
PM.
A.m. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
A.m.
1 a.m.
A.m. Yeah,
Wow, but
yeah.
it's a little late. Okay, but for us, Mark, it's really a pleasure. It's nice to meet you, because I know it's not so easy to meet someone who is really an open-minded. You are a young man who is really available to share your concept, ideas, and to share a lot of information. And I think it's really good. For this reason, I really appreciate the time you have spent, you have made with us. That's really good. That I really appreciate. And
Thank you.
yeah, and
Thank you. Yes.
I don't know if Andres is going to say something.
Yes. Thank you, Mark, for your time. You are a good person. I uh, deseo,
I
deseo is
wish,
where you.
I
I
wish
wish
you.
good luck with your work. If it's possible to continue speaking in other opportunity. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you, Andres. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I wish you. I think it's really important energy and patience with English. So
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Be patient.
that's a good message.
For all, for
Yeah.
English, for
Yeah,
work,
for
For
everything.
for
Yeah,
life.
living,
yeah. It
for
works for
life.
everything. Yeah, it
Yeah,
works for
it's
everything.
necessary to pay.
Okay,
Yes,
okay,
okay.
Mark. We hope to see
All right,
you
thank you.
at any other moment. Why not? But it was really a very nice time that we spent speaking about different topics. Okay, Mark.
Yeah,
Okay, have a nice time and bye bye. Okay,
yeah,
take
but
care.
Good night.